Hello, I am going to make a little guide here for anyone who's interested in Dire Mole East farming. We'll be going over the herb locations as well as killing the bosses that I can kill. I'm going to do this on my druid in my healing spec actually, but with some boomkin gear, so as a spellcaster. I only know how to do this as arranged. So the ones that I know that this would work for are hunters, mages, warlocks, and obviously druids. There's usually one of two herb nodes around here. There's one around there and one around here. They're two of the easiest ones. There's another two that can spawn right where this pack is right now. The Grom's blood is up right there, and there can be one right next to it as well. On the way back here, I'll do the dance with these triads without being in stealth when we don't go over the herb nodes at the same time, and you'll see that. I'm obviously cheating a bit with stealth here. So the main thing is obviously to keep an eye out for these the whole time and make sure you don't pull them. This spot, if you go on this side, is safe from that pack over there, but not this one. So you can actually be unstealthed and grab this herb even when they're all the way down here. There's usually a book. Oh, there is one right now. Good. And you can't approach that without popping that frond, a little spore thing. And of course it's just pocket lint. I did get the expensive book once, if you don't count the 2019 ones. So usually this side of the room are the easy herb nodes. On the west side are the ones that are almost always next to a pack of mobs. I think this one right up there is next to this pack. And there's one behind it that I think is next to one of these big lashers. So yeah, you can see that's inside the pack. There's no way for me to get this. But I'm fairly sure that this rock is a reset spot. So if you were a mage or a warlock, you could pull these, kill them all with AoE, and then if you aggro these guys, you can just reset them by standing on the rock and grab the herb. I've tried getting this dream foil. There's another one I'll show you later on that you can get if the lasher next to it is lower level. But I could not manage it even with this one. So these lashers can be level 57 or 58. Obviously this one at 58. There's no way I can get that herb. Usually the ones further down here are the only ones on the west side that I can actually get to. There's one node that can spawn around here, and another one that spawns around here. They're pretty much next to each other. And then there is not the difficult one. Okay, so normally there's a herb node here, which is the one I was talking about. If you're... if you are... yeah, so this guy at 57, if that node had been there, I could have grabbed it anyway. Even though it's next to the lasher, but it's the only one I know of that has that. And obviously this one you can always grab, even if it's a level 58. This pack is another one that has a herb node next to it quite often. It'll spawn around here. And I can still grab it. It's the only one that's next to one of these lasher packs that I can grab without killing them. But just like with that lasher, if it's 57, I have to be at max range to be able to do it. So I sneak up and then just make sure I'm at max range. This guy, as you saw, he sneaks all the way up here before going back on his route, which goes pretty much all the way to Hydra spawn, the first boss. And right where he rounds the corner there, there's a fallen pillar that has potentially another one of these guys. So if you're going down here, you need to be very careful about that one spot so that you don't get two of them at once. Unless, of course, you're like a warlock or something and you can just enslave them. Then you don't really need to be careful at all, you just kill them. But I have to be careful. right here. And he's not there right now. This is another spawn point for a ghost mushroom. There is one on the opposite side, so we'll go grab that. I've actually not tried to get over there without stealth. Kind of don't want to try, but I'm pretty sure that you can. But you have to really thread the needle to go between these two in order to do it. Obviously, again, if you're a warlock, just enslave this guy, kill the mobs, make your life easy. But as a mage, you could probably blink. As a hunter, obviously, you can feign. So everyone has a way around it, even if you can't actually thread the needle and walk between these packs. I'm looking this way because there is another patrolling stealthed one that will aggro as you're grabbing this herb if he is at the very end of his path that ends right here. This is up to the actual entrance. If you go in, no, the back entrance, sorry. You know, where you fight the imp and the caster boss. Which will not go there at all. So the basic idea with the bosses is that you just kite them. They each have a kiting spot that you just jump up and down between in order to make them path back and forth. The Hydra spawn here is going to be running up and down on this side of the pillar. And I'm going to be using the pillar to line of sight when he casts. I also have my downranked Moonfire macroed to target his ads when he splits. Let's see, where is it? There it is. So it has target on my modifier alt, target the Hydraling, and then also on modifier alt is Moonfire rank 7, as opposed to, what is the max rank, 11 or something? 10. Okay. And that's just because at my level of spell power, I know that a rank 7 will kill it. Sometimes he'll hit you. It's better to get hit once than to have him be out of position. I'm using these candles as kind of a marker of where to stand. Go too far past them, you'll pull this pack by making Hydra spawn, because he tries to predict where you're going to be. So if you go too far to the right, he'll just make a beeline straight for that pack. And there's the Hydraling. Use the macro. The Hydralings will kind of have a life of their own. They're not the ones you're trying to kite. If you can kite them at the same time, great. But if you have to tank them, that is much better than letting Hydra spawn get to you. As you can see, I don't quite have the mana to do this in one bar. So I need, even with the crits I'm getting, I need to use Innovate. But that's mostly because Boomkin is just kind of fucked. It's very expensive to use these spells compared to a major warlock. So you're probably going to have an easier time playing something else. Maybe I should have showed that, but if you do fuck up the kiting, and he comes over to melee you here, say, right? You're obviously not going to get him to come up on this side where you want him. So what you do then is you make him go up over here instead. And you do that by just going a little bit further in than you would normally here. And, you know, you have to just make kind of a leap of faith by walking a bit like that, right? And that would make him go up there. Obviously, I went slightly too far there. It's very close. But if this happens to you, you just reset over here. If this happens while you're kiting the boss, you're better off resetting the instance, to be honest. Because usually when Hydra spawn walks into these mobs, they will be completely out of position when they reset, which means that you can't really kite them even the normal way without pulling the boss. We'll see if they're in the right position now or not. Okay, they are. But like half the time, that one imp... Yeah, see, there it is. It is out of position. It just starts doing this instead. For some reason. But they're still linked. So you aggro this imp now, you pull this whole pack. So don't do that. Again, unless you're a warlock. Just make your life easy and kill the whole pack. Sometimes there's a chest over there. There is not right now. And there isn't a herb node next to any of these packs, but there can be a herb node there as well as next to this pack, and next to that pack. There can also be a ghost mushroom up in that corner over there, which is another location of one of these stealthed little guys. So if you go grab that node, you need to be careful that you don't run into one of these guys waiting for you. You can skip this guy by hanging around where I am now and just waiting for him to pass. Or you can kill him. I usually kill him because I want the runes, but I'm trying to show how this works, so let's not this time. Hydrospawn didn't really give a good drop this time. He gave elemental water. That's at least something. But he can give you essence of water and globes of water as well. Obviously you want the essences. But even elemental water and globe of water are useful, because the globe of water is used for the cloak resistance enchant, which we're going to be doing loads of for the guild. And the elemental water obviously used for the frost protection potions, which are both valuable as well as useful. And there's another ghost mushroom node. If, like me, you can't kill these packs, but you still want to get to the chest that I showed you the location of, I will go over that after I kill this boss. How you can still get that. So, this guy, the kiting spots are a bit weird, because you don't actually stand on this ledge, even though it kind of feels like the ledge is the location. You don't stand on the ledge because you can't break his line of sight standing on the ledge. This pillar, you can look over it by standing on the ledge. There's maybe a tiny spot where you can be in line of sight on the ledge, but it's much better to just stand below it. Basically, you want to kite him while being line of sight of him, so that he doesn't sacrifice you, because that will fuck you up. I spend most of my time just letting him die to dots instead. And you go close to the ledge here, and that is enough to make him run back, as if you're standing on the ledge. And doing that, peeking to get another cast in, is actually really risky. I normally avoid that, just to be safe. I kind of want him to cast Sacrifice now, just to show it. I think pretty much any class that can do this is going to die to one sacrifice, because he doesn't just give you the sacrifice debuff, he will also give you the intense pain debuff, and then he'll run over and actually melee you at the same time. It's way too much damage for anyone. And again, my mana isn't quite enough for this, especially when I'm casting the extra wrath there. Normally, this trinket is off cooldown by the time I kill him. So I can get like the last hots with that trinket. But if I pop Innovate here, I won't have it for the next boss. So it's still worth to let this take a little bit longer. And obviously once the trinket is off, it will speed things up quite a bit. There we go. That last one was a bit of a risky sacrifice, but he would have died anyway. He is much faster than you expect. I don't like to do even the 1.5 second casts. So you can get up here without aggroing those. And so if there was a chest here, obviously I can't reach, so Moonfire's out of range. But what you can do is if you have any kind of AoE, which again, Warlock, Mage, Hunter, you'll have something, you can use an AoE effect to pull them anyway. See, they're in range, even though they're actually not in range normally. So you'd pull them, I'm not going to do it now, and wait for them to come all the way up, because they'll go through that door the same way you came up here. And when they're in this door, they'll pull this pack pretty much right away, start casting at you. You jump down on this ledge here, and they'll reset while you're waiting, because remember, you have to be out of combat to grab a chest. So they'll reset. As soon as you're out of combat, you run over, grab the chest, and then get over there. Get over away from them before they get back. If you have any kind of dash or stealth, obviously that helps. And now we just go grab the last boss. This imp is obviously not normally there. This is the one I was talking about with the bad reset. I'm a little bit slow doing this because I don't actually have speed on my boots. I put spirit on them because of the mana issues I was talking about before. And I only use them for this. Right, so not going to do this with stealth. I might get myself killed. But standing where this guy is one of the safe spots. There's another one around that tree up there. And then you just make sure that you go in between. These guys turn at that tree. You need to wait for them every time. These guys go a little bit further. They go far in both directions, actually. So they go really far down there. But the only ones that have a sudden turn are the ones that are by that tree. And then this last pack in front of the door can be a little tricky because they tend to load in a bit late, like they just did. They also have this annoying curve to their path, so sometimes you have to go back, but this tree is the safe spot. And then you just run up. Yeah, I forgot as well. There can be another node next to these ones, which is another one that I can actually grab at max range. It's right where you drop down, like you can't miss it. The basic idea on this boss is that we're not actually going to kill him. If you have more power than I do, or more mana, you probably can. But it's kind of a pain in the ass. He doesn't have any extra drops like the other ones. And he just pulls out, well, he doesn't, but his ads pull everything once he goes below 50%. So it becomes a massive pain in the ass. You're not just fighting him and all his ads. Once the ads show up, they also pull both that pack and this pack. So you're kiting all of them at the same time, and presumably they're all at different stages of their route. So keeping them all away from you at the same time is pretty tricky. Let's, before we pull them, actually go over this. So when you kite him, you jump between this rock and up here on this ledge. When he gets to 50%, this wall breaks, the ads come out. They move a lot faster than he does. They also have a massive aggro range, which we'll talk about a bit later. They will start coming over to you, and you need to, or I'm going to need to make sure that he is at a good point in his kiting path. So sometimes I'll wait here for the ads to come closer and him to come closer to me if he's up on the ledge. If he's down there, I might be standing up here a bit longer as well, maybe jump down temporarily. But the idea is to just not get dazed as I run over to the reset spot on the opposite side of this rock. Because if I get dazed, doesn't really matter how far away the ads are, they're still going to catch me and kill me. I can AoE them down, but usually at the end of this fight I have so little mana, and you see Hurricane is 1500 mana. I think I can miss one tick on them and still kill them, but it's really close, and sometimes they're like halfway resetting, so you don't want to miss that tick for that reason as well. And this is a reason why doing this as a druid is actually really useful, because I can both heal myself from this dot and cleanse the poison. Enervate is a real pain in the ass, especially if you're a mage or hunter. I would recommend bringing the first aid item that lets you cleanse poisons, that you can just get them very cheap because they're pretty much useless for everything else. Use the, I think it's the huge venom sac that you use to craft them. So the large venom sacs are obviously very valuable because you use them for elixirs of poison resistance for AQ. But these ones are, if it's that they have a normal cooldown or that they have a global, that makes them less valuable than the elixirs. So I run up here because my range is not enough. When he's running back, he goes down a bit closer. But when he's going up, he goes all the way back there, very close to the pack. I use a lot of down-ranked heals just to save mana as well. This wolf, you really don't want to get hit by it. It has a debuff called Mangle that has a 50% slowing effect on you. Yeah, see, he could have used it there. That was too close. And that's the same thing as getting dazed, right? It's just going to fuck you up, and this part is not going to work. So we run to the reset spot, jump once to make sure that you're on the slope, because the ads can still run up and melee you if you're not. If you're a mage or warlock, you're probably going to want to stand on this rock and let them get a bit close to you. Or you just run over here after kiting the way I do, let the ads come to you, but not the boss. And then AoE them as you let them melee you, and you're standing around here or something, right? Because once the ads reset, you can hide here from the boss, leave combat much more easily, because his aggro range is much more kind, right? And then you can just line of sight him when he's not next to this here. You can line of sight him when he's further out using the pillar, and you can just get into the cave without aggroing anything. But these things, if they are still alive, it doesn't matter where you are. If there's not a wall between you and them, they will see you. Like, you can stand all the way up here and they will still aggro if you die and come back, right? The only way to lose them, to line of sight them and get to a reset spot, they will chase you to the ends of the earth. If you die and come back, you saw the pillar I jumped on before. If you die and come back, the best way to reset them is to use that pillar. And then just give yourself a bit of time, right, to get down. And either get here and kill them the normal way, or just try to run up and reset them some other way. Like maybe you could stand on the ledge and blizzard them or something as they're trying to come to you, as you run up and reset again. But dying here and resetting if you don't have stealth is really tricky. Anyway, that's basically it. Just time to mine. Gonna include the mining in this recording just in case I get a crystal. So in terms of the guild, obviously there's Grom's Blood, Dreamfoil, Essence of Water, Globe of Water, Arcane Crystals, Black Lotus, Bellcloth. There's so many things from this, even the huge emeralds are useful. All of these are things that we need right now for tank items and flasks and frost protection and tier 3 crafting and frost resistance crafting, as well as enchanting, right? So there are so many things from this farm that are useful. I think the only thing that isn't directly for the guild, and that's only because we're not We're not subsidizing it, are the ghost mushrooms, but they're still useful. Like, they're a component in the shadow damage elixirs that warlocks use. The shadow protection potions actually use the lower level herbs, which you would get from farming Scarlet Monastery instead. Alright, that's it. Thank you.